everybody, Rhiannon here, and I'm back with another video. It's been a minute, like I always say, but I'm back and I have something really cool to talk to you guys about today. The prayer journal video that I posted last on YouTube is doing very well, so if you haven't seen that, go ahead and check that out. I've actually gotten a new prayer journal, so here it is. It says pray. It comes with stickers. I created the tabs, and then you can go and look on my Tree Journal Instagram account where I show you how exactly to make the tabs for each day for your prayer journal. So go ahead and check that out, but that's not why I'm here. I want to talk about something else today. I recently turned 22 3 weeks ago, and I don't know, I'm kind of in this period of my life where I'm just so uncertain about everything. Nothing just really makes sense, and I just don't know. I really just don't know. So I wanted to talk to you guys and get a little bit more intimate in my personal life on just kind of how I'm coping with things and getting through being 20-something in America, trying to live this dream of mine, but yet find myself trying to figure it all out more times than not. So today I'm going to talk to you all about the quarter life crisis. So yeah, I'm a nerd, and I had to come up with some type of name for this phase that I'm going through in life, and what I identify most with right now in my life is the quarter life crisis. And it's basically this period in your 20s where you just kind of feel like you're at this point and you feel the pressure of having to define yourself and create who you are and figure out your purpose and get to the core of your being. So I'm trying my hardest right now to figure out who Brianna is, what she stands for, and how I can live this most authentic life leading up to this purpose God has really created me on earth for. So yeah, I brought in my friend today.
Hi,
We've been friends for 8 years, guys. 8 years.
A very long time.
Very long time.
Yes.
Yeah, we've been friends for 8 years, and right now we kind of identify with the same things in our lives. So we're going to talk to you guys a little bit about what we're experiencing in our own personal life and how that can kind of go into this quarter life crisis thing. I don't technically want to identify myself with this quarter life crisis, but I'm going to be for real honest. I just don't know. I just don't know. So I'm going to say we're in this quarter life crisis, but we're not stuck, okay? Mm-hmm. Life still has to go on. We still try to make it happen. And to be quite honest, life is kind of good for us both right now. But to still identify with living with the pressures to succeed, living with the pressures to be this great person right now, not in the next 5 years, but right now, it gets a little overwhelming for us. So we're gonna talk to you guys a little bit. We're gonna share our hearts and be a little bit vulnerable with you guys and share what's really happening in our personal lives. And we just hope that you feel our hearts and that you just kind of take this little journey with us. Not asking you to get in the crisis or whatever, but just kind of understand where we're coming from.
So hello everyone, I'm Damaya, for those who don't know who I am. And yes, I am a longtime friend of Brianna's, and we are both, like she said, dealing with something very personal right now in our lives. But to be honest and raw with you guys, I have lost myself in this crisis. Although I've been working hard and God has been giving me things that I've been praying for and showing me a different transition in my life as well, I still, in the midst of having these things, am not happy with myself. So upon getting what, I of course asked for and seeing that he's good all the time. I still was like, wait, self, you're not taking care of yourself. You're not, doing things that you should be doing and putting aside things for you. You're doing things for other people. You're constantly up on your feet for other people. And your child, of course, he comes first before me. But at the same time, I still have to take care of myself. I know y'all like my hair. I know y'all do. Thank you. I cut my hair yesterday to be exact. And the main focus point as to why I cut my hair was because I felt that I needed to release a lot of damage that really myself, that I had within myself that I needed to let go. So I cut my hair, waking up this morning, I kid you not, went in the restroom, I looked at myself and I cried. Because, of course, I'm not the same person I was yesterday because I have a whole different haircut. And cutting my hair for me was emotional. And I saw how different I looked. I saw how my body, seemed to be different as well. And a lot of things kind of spoke out in me. So as I'm looking at myself in the mirror, I'm like, wow, like your potential is there, but you're not living your potential. I'm literally doing things different than I did before I cut my hair. So my plan as of right now in this crisis that I'm in is to get myself in a consistent pattern. I was good and just fine as far as things financially for me and things as far as not having to worry about anything, but I'm still dealing with happiness within myself.
All right, well, I don't know if I mentioned this before, but my birthday was 3 weeks ago. And I just turned 22. Hello. 22. And leading up to my birthday, I did this countdown, the 22 days before my 22nd birthday. And I kind of just reflected over those 22 days. And on the blog, I shared other women's stories of dealing with self. So it was like self-love, self-optimism. But yeah, I did the self series and we talked about self-discovery leading up to self-optimism. So basically finding out who I was then and just kind of having hope for who I am going to be, in the future. So during those 22 days, it was really hard for me because I had to realize that I was turning another year old. So I don't know, 21 was like, it was like a lit year. But I still had my hardships, of course, but it felt like toward the end of the year is when I started to experience the most hardships. So much so, as I was doing this lady's makeup, I started to have a panic attack. This was the first panic attack I've had in 3 years, so I felt like I was legit gonna die. I did. Me being at work, I felt worse because this is something that I love to do. I love to do makeup, and literally as I was doing that lady's makeup, I felt my hands shaking. I felt myself getting hot. I felt myself feeling nauseous. Like it was so bad. Just taking that day alone and reflecting over that day, I just had to go back and realize and assess what it is that I feel unbalanced with in my life. So that's pretty much what led me to understanding that I'm in a quarter life crisis, because I live with this pressure every day to succeed. I live with this pressure every day to be this great person, not including the expectations that other people set for me. I have expectations for myself, and these expectations that I feel like I have to meet so soon. I'm 22 and I've already gained a lot of success, but I have a lot more left to get. And to feel like I have to get it so soon because of the society that we live in, it gets a little bit hard for me and it gets overwhelming. So that's when I have those moments where I have to sit down and say, Brianna, and breathe. Okay, it's okay. It's normal for you to feel the pressures of the world, and it's also normal for you to set expectations for yourself, but know that it's okay and take your time, because wherever you're supposed to be, you're gonna get anything that God has planned for you. It's gonna be for you, and no man is gonna be able to step in front of that, in the middle of that, around that, or put their hands on it. So I have to come to terms with that thought every single day and to make peace with where my life is right now. And I think that's where most of my problems lie. So with me being transparent, and the point of me having the blog is so that you guys can see my life personally, see the things that I'm dealing with, go on this journey with me, pray with me, and so we can get to wherever we're called to be together. That's something we felt like we needed to share so that you guys can understand what we're really like going through.
Right.
Life is like hard.
Outside of what you see.
Exactly. Exactly.
Usually what I put out there is what I want you to see.
Yeah.
So it's not that, oh, I don't go through anything, or oh, I don't have issues with myself, or I don't have issues, period. I'm still human, and we all have to realize that as well. I feel like we're so caught up in the, like you said earlier, the Kardashian
theory.
Wake up. We are ourselves. Like, we need to come to grips with what we need to do, not what we see other people doing.
Yeah. Because believe it or not, we have flaws, we have problems, we have issues. Mm-hmm. Some days we be hungry. Some days our hair look crazy. I'm not walking around with makeup on my face all the time. I had 2 ponytails when she got here. Like, those type of things are real life, and we go through them every day. So it's not like we live this picture perfect life, just for Instagram, and which I'm going to talk about later on in the blog, flexing for the gram. But we live this life.
Flexing.
Oh my God.
Oh, my haters.
Sometimes people think that we live this life of just luxury, when in reality we're human beings just like you. So in our discussion before we decided to do the video for the quarter life crisis, Demaya and I were talking, and we were talking about early millennials like us in our early 20s, late teens, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, probably up to about 25. We live with this pressure of doing things right. And in our discussion, we were talking about how up until now, we've made the right decisions, quote unquote right, those things that we kind of felt like we had to do. So for me, I went to private school up until the 8th grade, and then from the 8th grade I went to an early college high school where I got my associate's degree and high school diploma and met Demaya. And from the early college high school I went to university, and at the university I completed it in 2 years. So I graduated at 20 years old, but I didn't realize how hard life would really hit me then. So moving from college graduation to getting a job at a charter school here in Dallas to getting another job at MAC Cosmetics, I live with this pressure to do things strategically so that I can get to this ultimate goal. But in reality, sometimes I have my insecurities and live with this thought of me not doing everything that I need to do to fulfill this ultimate purpose, in which I'm still trying to figure out. So I really do think that more often than not, people who are our age right now, who are in the same generation as us and experiencing life, we're pretty much experiencing that same thing. Well, we feel like we have to make these right strategic decisions to get to where we feel like we're supposed to be. And it adds so much pressure, and that's why some of us deal with anxiety like me. Some people live with depression. Some people take medication to calm their nerves so that they can live with the pressures of the world, excluding, like I said before, expectations other people set for them. So it gets really heavy. And so in our discussion, we kept talking about doing the right thing, and she cut her hair to feel free, and I'm not fully enrolled in school. This is the first semester ever in my life that I am not a full-time student, and you know what? It feels so good, because I needed to take a little bit of load off of my shoulders so that I can honestly say that I'm getting to where I'm supposed to be, but within my own time and within the pace that I feel like I need to go in order to live this healthy life. Because ultimately, we have to have healthy lifestyles. And
yes, very important.
In order to get there, we got to take the steps, slowly sometimes. We have to take a little bit off of our shoulders, remove a little bit of responsibility, take a little bit off, take that pressure off so that we can get to where we need to be. So that's one point that we wanted to talk about. Feeling like we've done everything right. Feeling like you have to do everything right. When in reality, you kind of make your world. Mm-hmm. And however you choose to make your world, it's going to work for you. It really is.
Yeah, you are your world. So what I'm seeing in the midst of being a mother And being an adult, a young adult right now, I have to create my world, put myself aside from this physical world that we live on called Earth, and get more in tune spiritually, for one, with my world. Because at the end of the day, that's what matters, and I feel that's what's important for us to be able to know our purpose in life. Know what you, yourself, and what God wants you to be.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about vision a couple months ago, and I would always say, write your vision down, make it plain. That's what it says in the Bible. Write your vision for your entire life, but also take it to God so that you know that whatever you desire for your own life, it aligns with His will. Because, if not, then you kind of living out of alignment, and I'm not Jesus, so I can't tell you what you doomed to or whatever. But yeah, I mean, that's just not the way it's supposed to go. So you get that in check, and you talk to God about what it is that you want for your life, and you make the proper steps to get in there. And that's really all there is to it. So in our discussion, we not only talked about doing everything right, we talked about living in this instant success society.
In a microwave.
Yeah, in a microwave society. We live in this comparison world where you see one person, they get instantly famous off of a viral picture or a viral song or this dance or something like that. So when you try to do it, it doesn't work that way. And that's how some of these pressures could be added onto our lives, because we sit there and we compare other people's success to our own, when we just stated before that you have to create your world, you have to create the lane in which you're supposed to go down.
I didn't look at somebody via social media or just off of a magazine or something. It was like, oh, I'm going to do what she's doing. I literally asked God, what am I supposed to do? He told me 3 things that I need to do. Being a mother, being in the hair industry, and also having a relationship with Him, and using my gift that I have right now that I know works. You are supposed to have different gifts and talents that you're supposed to serve and use in God's glory. And I put on my social media or my Instagram that, like, my hands are anointed. I am serious when it comes to, like, my hands being anointed. That's something that God, I know for sure, gave me as a gift, and that I appreciate and I use.
So we're just kind of going to end this point right here with living in this microwave society, having this pressure to succeed and trying to get it instantly. Number one, when it's your time, it is your time. Pretty simple. That's like really all I can say. When it's your time, God will make sure that what you need will come to pass, will be readily available, will be right in your hands. Just as long as you stay ready, you stay focused on what it is you feel your purpose is. Well, to kind of wrap up our little discussion here, it wasn't super major. We just kind of wanted to get, the things that we've been experiencing kind of off of our chest, and kind of talk about, ways that we can make this quarter life crisis a little bit better for us. So we kind of came up with some tips and stuff to get people our age and people who are going through the same things we're going through a little bit of motivation, and knowing that, this quarter life crisis is not permanent, number one, and that it does get better. We haven't figured out what the better is yet, because we're still in it.
But we see the light. We see the light. Don't get us wrong. We see the light.
We see the light.
But boy, it's a little light.
Okay.
But we see it.
Looking a little dim or something. Just a little dim.
Just a little dim.
I
see it though. I definitely
but we see it. We kind of just want to end this thing out with a little bit of advice, that's coming from our hearts, and something that we know that we're going to have to accept for ourselves too. Because how you be giving advice to people and you don't even live what you be telling other people. Yeah, this one we're actually going to have to live out, so that we all can just kind of go through this journey together and figure out, how to make our 20s the greatest years ever, and not something where we just feel like we're just so stuck, because we're not.
Exactly.
So tip number one, advice piece number one, just to leave this thing out with, it's perfectly normal. The quarter life crisis is perfectly normal. Honestly, I do believe that the quarter life crisis is a blessing, because believe it or not, there are people who are in their 50s who are still trying to figure out who they are. So experiencing this transitional period early on in life, you get a chance to get in formation.
Hello.
You get to get information faster than somebody else. There are so many people out in the world just kind of wondering, trying to figure out who they are, what their purpose is on the earth, and we're figuring that out at 21, at 22, and I think that it's a blessing. So not only is it normal, it's a blessing. Kind of flip that situation around and make it work for you. We're getting information in our 20s. Hello? We may feel a little bit lost some days. Some mornings may feel a little bit worse than others, but for the most part,
you gotta keep your eye on the prize.
Yeah, and we're moving forward, and that's the greatest point ever. Like, that's just like what makes it so much more worth it, is that we're moving forward. We're moving forward. So number one, it's normal. Number two, the quarter life crisis is more of a transitional phase than it is something that just makes you feel like you're doomed forever. I know that some people who experience quarter life crisis may go through a depression period, or may deal with anxiety, because I have come up with so many ways to cope with anxiety that I may share later on the blog, because there are a lot of people who deal with it, and I honestly didn't know, because that was something I kind of shielded from other people, because I didn't think other people went through anxiety issues like I did. So when I would have trouble breathing, I would never express, to somebody else, oh guys, I'm like literally shaking and I can't breathe right now, because I didn't think anybody would understand. So now that I'm open with the issues that I have with anxiety, it gets a little bit easier to deal with, knowing that I have a great support system behind me. Who knows? Okay, Brandon, so maybe you need to start focusing on your breathing, which has been oh my god. Number three, get rid of unmet expectations. Get rid of unmet expectations. That could be the expectation that you set for yourself that you haven't met yet, or that could be an expectation that someone else places upon you that you haven't met, and they're so disappointed because you just haven't met this expectation. Call me back. Anyway, yeah, so because oftentimes we sit there and we beat ourselves up about not being this person or not being somewhere. And it's like, dude, I'm going to get there when I get there, okay?
Exactly.
Let me just kind of wiggle my shoulders or something. Cause,
brush.
Oh, listen, seriously, because that's so much added stress that you really don't have to deal with. And listen, now that I've understood at 22... that there are a lot of things that I have dealt with that I don't have to, baby, it'll save your life. It'll save your life. So that's number three. Get rid of unmet expectations. Number four, just don't compare. Don't compare at all. Your race is totally different from somebody else's race, and stay in your lane, baby. The lane was created there for you. You finish it. You add curves and squiggly lines if that's what you want to do. But like, seriously, stay in your own lane, because what is for you is for you. And I've already touched on that. Like, can't nobody get in the way of that. Nobody. Your blessing is your blessing. I can't step over into Demaya's lane and try to get her blessing.
I can't step into hers.
So that's just what it is. Number four, just don't compare. Number five. What is number five? Don't stay in the dumps. Don't stay in the dumps. Like, I am in a quarter life crisis, but I'm not stuck, so that's something I can smile about. People get in this depression and they feel so low, and it's like, for what? I mean, at the end of the day, I work with kids, so I always tell those kids, I promise you, out of the 4 reasons you have to frown, I promise you have 5 reasons to smile. So start counting your blessings seriously. Start thanking God for the little. little things. I recently changed the entire series for this month to talk about the quarter life crisis. Before that, I was going to talk about gratitude practices, something that I've been doing for a couple weeks now. It's basically finding a little journal and filling up that little tiny page with things you have to be grateful for each day. Because there are so many times where I feel like my days are just so long and they feel bad, they're horrible. I haven't met the goal that I was supposed to meet. My financial situation isn't the way I want it to look. And so instead of me just kind of living in the dumps over that situation, I start counting the things that I've been grateful for that got me through the entire day. So yeah, I may not have had the best day in the world, but I got through it. Oh, it's now 10 o'clock at nighttime and I'm still breathing. You know, the day didn't take me away with it. So that's number 5. Don't live in the dumps. Yeah, you may be in a quarter life crisis. Yeah, you may not know exactly who you are or what it is that you're supposed to be doing. But don't be down about that, because at least you're here in your 20s trying to figure it out. Don't wait till you're about 60 or 70 to try to get it together. Just like I said in number 1, it's a blessing that we're going through this right now in our lives. That just saves so much stress that we don't have to deal with later on. So baby, we getting in formation right now. We gonna be in formation in 5 years. Hello, climate. Hello. Number 6, guys. Number 6, engage with those who feel the same way. Engage with people who understand where you're coming from. Nearly all of my friends are in the same position as I am. And it gets a little frustrating because, you know, sometimes you be calling people for advice and they can't give you advice because they're kind of going through the same thing you're going through. And it gets a little frustrating to me, but it's still a blessing to know that all of my friends are experiencing the same thing. So I surround myself with people who understand what it is that I'm going through, so that I feel like I'm not going through this thing alone. So number 6, yeah, surround yourself with people who understand you. Number 7, have faith in your future. Yes. Have faith in your future, because
get a hand raise on that.
Listen, if nobody else is gonna have faith in your future, who is? You know, that's the type of thing that's something you have to hold steadfast to. I know exactly where I want to be. I'm going to keep in mind of it. I have written it down. I know exactly what type of life I want. I have prayed over it. I have put my hand on it. I have asked God to bless it. All of that. And I have faith that I'm going to get there. And God is going to bless it and exceed my expectation. Because that's just what He said He'll do. That's exactly what He said He'll do. So have faith in your future. Because you got to. You just got to. Ask yourself, who do you really want to be? And start making conscious efforts and decisions to walking down that path that God has designed exclusively for you. I'm really done. This kind of wraps up everything. I hope you guys stay tuned for what it is that we're going to talk about next with the quarter life crisis. You know, I don't know. Thank you guys for watching and for being here and for subscribing to my channel.
Make sure you
I have to shout those people out, but I got so many people who are subscribed to my channel now, and I'm super excited about you guys. Welcome to the Mindshea Journal family. Yeah, we just kind of going through this thing called life together. So thank you for following little wretched little on me.
I can't.
Thank you. I do love you. I do love you. Guys, I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. See you later.